I think we learnt pretty early on there's a good lesson in you set the bar. Like especially if you're thinking of an idea like the gravy chip, which just kind of happened. I remember it was 5:55 one afternoon. I remember it happening because it was pretty close to the June break. So let's just say it was like 2 weeks away from the survey break. Just started with Ando and I going, I said to Andy, do you reckon with light and tangy chips, they thought of the flavour first? They were like, what do we call this? And then they thought of light and tangy. Or someone said, we need to develop a flavour that matches the words light and tangy. So we're joking around with like what comes first. Guy from Smith's calls and goes, we think of the flavour. Yep. We developed flavour, then we came up with a name for it. And then just out of that, he said, this guy on the air live went, we could do a flavour for you guys. And we were like, finish the show. It was pretty funny. Even asked the question, then we're like, do we call this guy back tomorrow? Was like, was that moment over? Kind of almost didn't call him back because we thought, no, it was 10 to 6, like we're almost done the show. Did decide to call him back the next day, which was good because then that sort of started that whole journey. But from there, it was just, what flavour would you pick? Then from there, it was like, well, this can be done. Then it was gravy. Then it was what kind of gravy? Then could this be made? And it was almost about a 2-month journey because we had to go away.
They were all little wins along the way.
All little wins. And at no point did we have that end game of going, we'll release this chip. Now, it wasn't like we were deliberately not doing any work behind the scenes, but you just want to make sure you never want to overpromise and underdeliver, especially when you're in charge of the bar. Like we're in charge of deciding when this is a success. If we go, geez, just getting one chip made and tasting it is the success because we reckon that's all we can do, set the bar there and we get a whole bag made and you've leapt the bar.